Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, energized by Celsius, the official energy drink of pewterreport.com. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there watching this show. And we are starting off the week with a very fun one as we're going to talk about the Bucs Creamsicle jerseys. They are back this season. They will be donning them in week 6 in a home game against the Detroit Lions right after the bye for the Bucs. So you don't have to wait too long to see the Creamsicle jerseys. But we're going to talk about said lovable orange jerseys. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you happy they're back? Where do they rank in the NFL? Where do they rank among the Bucs uniforms? So a lot of fun conversation on today's show. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is the face that runs the place at pewterreport.com. SR Scott Reynolds. Scott, how was your Father's Day?
It was great, Matt. Had a great time. Ashley and I went up to the Omni in Orlando. My daughter Ellie, who's in town this summer, was able to join us. Yeah, the kids are working, so it's weird when you have grown-up kids, right?
Right.
They're not always available for holidays and such. But we had a great time, and
Awesome.
got all the well wishes, and certainly want to wish all of the dads and granddads, stepdads, pop-pops, grandfathers, granddaddies, everybody a happy Father's Day, and hopefully it was a good one. And this is going to be a fun show, Matt. I'm super excited about this. We talked about this. We're in the summer, right? There's no more mini camp to cover. Training camp is still about 6 weeks away. So we got some filler, over the summer. But this is going to be a really fun show because there is a bit of controversy around the Creamsicles, because not everybody loves them. And when the Buccaneers brought them back in 2009, they won that game. It was in dramatic fashion, one of 3 wins that year for Raheem Morris and his Buccaneers. But they have not performed well since then, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. And so there is some controversy. Some people like them. Some people love them so much, Matt, they want them to be their regular jerseys and replace the red and pewter look that this team has had since 1997. So we'll get into that. You know what Monday is, folks. It's always the best day to join the Pewter Report podcast live. Why? Well, it's a little thing we do called
Roll Call. Where you at, Peter people? At 4:20 today. That's when we want everyone watching, listening to jump on in. We love interacting with the Peter people as much as we possibly can. So at 4:20, when we're talking about a subject, probably the Creamsicle jerseys,
that's right.
Start letting us know where you are watching the show from, whether you're in Tampa, whether you're international. Just put it up in the screen as you see where everyone can comment as Shaggy's talking about the white helmet with the Creamsicle. Start putting in your location at 4:20, and we'll put it up on the screen and give a little shout out to where you're all watching from.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Juneteenth, as Darius
Happy
Miller
Juneteenth.
says out there. So we appreciate that. Here's just a perfect snapshot. In terms of the throwbacks, the Creamsicles, we love them. And then I hated those ugly jerseys. So there is some controversy there on several different levels. And there might be some controversy to the Creamsicles returning this year because, Matt, they may not be exactly the same Creamsicles. So we have some audio and video to play from some Buccaneer players who kind of gave us a little bit of hint that it might not be the exact same look that we saw when the Buccaneers last donned the Creamsicle look. There was Rondé Barber back in 2012. And actually, that's a picture from 2009. So that was when they beat the Packers. It's Rondé in 2009. And, that was the throwback look then. And it was very, very similar in terms of the exact color combination and helmet, the logo, everything was exactly the same as it was back in the days from 1976 all the way through 1996. And of course, they had a couple little tweaks and variations in there, but that's pretty much the classic look right there, Matt.
I think it's a fantastic look. I think it's one of the best vintage jerseys that you can find in the NFL. We'll talk about some of the other jerseys later and where they rack up. But what interests me is, and you talk about the controversy of some people love it, some people hate it. And I kind of wanted to understand from Bucs fans, feel free to put it in the chat if you have a strong opinion one way or another. I personally like it, but I want to understand why people would actually hate the jersey? Do you not like that, like, kind of burnt orange type of look that it has? And I keep coming back to, I think the reason why some people dislike it is it because whether if you don't like the color, then you just don't like the color,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. But for a lot of people, they say nostalgia is a huge drug, and I think with these vintage jerseys, what you're kind of getting with. For some fans, it reminds them of like the losing
Yeah.
Buccaneers, like the team that didn't win a game in their first season, and a lot of just bad memories
A
with
lot of losses in the 80s, man. A lot of bad Buccaneer football in the 80s.
being worn. So I'm curious if that's the biggest reason why people don't like that the Creamsicle is back. I don't think it should be their full-time one because they did win a championship with the Red and Pewter, 2
Yeah.
championships to be exact. Also, we'd have to change Pewter Report a little bit. I think we'd have to
Yeah.
change the name. So I don't necessarily want to do that, but I think once a season is the proper amount that the Creamsicle.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, one of the interesting things is because again, we'll get to the video here of a couple players. Lavonte David's probably the most interesting.
Yes.
About the comments with the throwback jerseys, but I put a poll up on our Pewter Report Twitter page here not too long ago, and I will drop that in the chat if everybody wants to participate. I'll put that link in right now. But I asked a question, and it kind of leads into what we're going to get into. This is part of the controversy here. The question is, would you be in favor of a modernized variant of the Bucs Creamsicle uniforms, or should the team stay true to the Bucco Bruce throwbacks? Matt, we're only about 424 votes in. It's only been up for about 4 hours. I'm a little shocked and surprised how close this is. 50, let's call it 52% say they want the classic Bucco Bruce uniforms. And then 48% said they wanted an updated Creamsicle uniform. So thanks to our good friend Samar Ali from the Loose Cannons podcast.
Shout out.
He is a fantastic graphic artist. I think the best around when it comes to doing the football mock-ups and the alternate uniforms and different looks. He's done some of these in the past. He, at my request, emailed me a couple of those. We'll put those up later in the show and give you all some look at what some alternate variants would be if the Buccaneers decided to go that way. These not official. These are just Sammer's interpretations of what he would like to see. And some of these are pretty damn cool, folks. But I was a little surprised, Matt, how close it was. 52% say leave the classic Bucco Bruce alone in terms of those uniforms. And then you had 48% say change it up, modernize these uniforms.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's a very close vote because I feel kind of torn about it too. I just the look already is great, with the Bucco Bruce. I do think there can be certain changes to it. So I would vote in favor of a modernized version of the Bucco Bruce. You put up this picture of Todd Bowles at the NFL Combine. People want to know different things. Is Lavonte David going to be re-signed? What are they going to do at quarterback? Because Baker wasn't on the roster yet.
That's right.
And I think the biggest news out of Indy, everyone was like, I love the Bucco Bruce outfit that Todd Bowles is wearing. So I think there's a way where you can make a modern one while still, paying homage to and honoring and respecting the old Bucco Bruce logo, where it just looks clean. It looks sleek. It's a nice updated version as we talk about. So, yeah, I would vote in favor of, yes, making it a little more modern, but kind of paying homage to what the jerseys look like. Because I don't know how much you can really change. And sometimes I don't want them to change it just for the sake of changing it. Like, hey, we're going to get new uniforms. And it was these ugly, disgusting alarm clock numbered jerseys. Like, I hate those Bucs jerseys. And it feels like they just they saw another team make a change. So it was like, we got to make a change too. And then finally they did it right back in 2020, going back to the traditional red and pewter. So
one thing that I've got to kind of find out is, and here's Elliot. I like to see him twice per year, once with an orange jersey and white pants, and again with the white jersey and orange pants. And that was a look that Sam Weish introduced to the team back in 1992, I believe. And so this was a different look. This became more of the regular look. Now, this was like their away jersey and pant combination. Really, when I started covering the team in 1995, the last 2 years, 95 and 96, then they switched to the pewter and red. But what's interesting is very much like how we don't see a lot of the red jerseys until later in the year. It's
Yeah.
mostly white on white or white on pewter. And then they bring in the red typically in November and December. Same thing here. You didn't see a lot of the orange jersey at all until later in the year. So this was really the dominant look, road and home, for the first couple months of the season. Then they would go to the orange jersey and the white pants. And so that it's a little interesting how they've evolved here. And just to give a history lesson here real quick, these are the logos throughout the years for the Buccaneers. I got these on sportslogos.net. So this graphic here. So 1776 through 1996, of course, you had the Bucco Bruce. And then they went to the pewter and red. I was there for it in 1997 when they debuted the new uniforms, the new helmet, which was pewter, not white, as well as the new logo, which is the red pirate flag. And then you can see how they updated this. Now, the fans hated the alarm clock uniforms and the jerseys. And just to remind you all of how bad it is, you can always look over my shoulder right here. I need to get a new Buccaneer jersey, but the team gave me this for my 20th year covering the team 8 years ago. So that's why it's framed there. It's not in any type of, I'm not like paying homage to that particular.
You didn't go out of your
jersey.
way and be like, let me get one of those jerseys.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a reason for it. But just to get back to our history lesson real quick. So they went with the 1997 through 2013, that particular flag and logo. Now, I loved the new one. I think the new flag is their new logo is awesome, and they kept that. And now in 2020, when they brought the one change they made in 2020 was they went back to the original red, which is darker, more like a dark blood red.
Yeah.
And that's why you can see the difference between the 2014 to 2019 and then the 2020 to the current present day. And you can also see the Bucco Bruce uniform timeline here. You got the classic orange on white. This was the home uniform, but again, they wear white on white a lot back in the day when it was all hot. So, but from 1976 to 96, that was the orange on white uniform. Then you had the road uniform. And the difference was they started off with orange numbers, and then they went to red numbers in 1982. So that's the subtle difference between those. And then in the road uniform in 1991, they put the orange trim around the neck.
Right.
And that stayed on from 1992 all the way through 96 in terms of the top of the jersey. And they still had the road white pants as well. And then, of course, they brought in the orange pants during Sam Weish in 1992. So that's the timeline, and that's the logo. So, Matt, would you be in favor of them tweaking the Buccaneer Bruce logo like they did the Buccaneer flag logo from 2013 to 2014? Should they modernize that and update that?
Yes. First of all, they should have Bruce Arians as the pirate and really play into the Bucco Bruce.
He's the Bucco Bruce, right? Yeah, for sure.
I think you can make a little tweak, kind of like with the graphic you just had. The last two Bucs pirate flags, they're very similar. They're a little bit different,
right?
But overall, they look. You're telling the same story. Yeah, the 2014 to 2019, followed by the 2020 to present day. There's little adjustments to it, but at the end of the day, it's overall the same logo. I think you can do a little bit of an updated version with the Bucco Bruce. It'll still have all the old school feel. And I saw someone in the chats before, and we have a super chat to get to as well. Appreciate Elliot. But I like the idea of doing two creamsicles, one at home and one on the road. And for the road game, you can wear that, more of the white jersey with the creamsicle pants. I think that's a fantastic idea. And at the end of the day, the NFL's a business. They've done a lot of things in the name of money. And I think implementing the creamsicle jersey on the road, it's just going to be more money for everyone involved. Yeah. So I don't see why
I'm shocked when you've got the Oregons of the world, right? With all the different variant jerseys in college football. Why the NFL wants to limit it to you're allowed to have two regular versions of jerseys and then like an alternate jersey, right? Or a throwback. Like, holy smokes, man. We've got some variants that Samar Ali, again, from Loose Cannons podcast, has put on the web, and we'll have them here on the show, that are just amazing. And you would think that all of the different color combinations that can be used between pewter and red and orange and white and red, they could come up with a whole bunch of different cool looks, and even blending the creamsicle colors with the new modern logo. And we got some of those to show you too. So hang on. I'm just shocked that the NFL has not decided to go the way of college football and just throw a whole bunch of variants out there. I'm not saying have a different one for every particular game, right? I'm a UCF Knights fan, and they're almost like Oregon, where they've got a whole bunch of different variants. Kansas State, not so much. Every time, Matt, we put out a variant, we have like the all white uniforms with the white helmet and the purple Power Cat, or we had the throwback Willie Wildcat. Every time we do that, we lose. So it's like we just need to stick to the Bill Snyder original. But I think the alternate looks are really cool. I really do.
I do too. I remember we were having that conversation, and we were both like, yeah, when you schedule that jersey, you got to, put it against a cupcake team or someone you're absolutely going to annihilate.
A guaranteed win. Yeah.
Yes, you don't have to worry about that. But thank you to Elliot for this $1.99 super chat. Elliot wants to know, Scott, what was the initial reaction to the 97 rebrand when they
loved it?
They loved it.
They absolutely loved it. I remember it was April, and I can't remember the date, maybe April 17th, something like that. April 7th, 1997. So it was in the offseason before the draft. They had an unveiling at the Tampa Convention Center, and they had Hardy Nickerson, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Trent Dilfer. I think those were the 4 Buccaneers that they modeled the different looks, the different jerseys, and all of that, the uniform combinations. And now here's the interesting thing. This is before cell phone cameras or anything like that. I actually went to a Walmart on Dale Mabry the night before, like at 10 o'clock at night, and they were stocking the new logo, T-shirts and hats and all of this before the jersey released the next day.
Yeah.
So I actually knew what it was, and this is 97. We didn't even have a website. There was a question, what were you guys called before Pewter Report, before Pewter was a color of the team? We were Buccaneer Magazine back in the day. And we had our first website was buckmag.com. And so we didn't even have a website. I didn't have any way to even get that out to the masses. If I had my phone now, I could take pictures and have
put it on Twitter and hey,
and be the villain and beat the Bucs to the punch, right? But they didn't have that. So, but it was really interesting because I was like, holy smokes, this is the new logo. And it looks absolutely amazing. And it was a huge hit. And of course, it coincided with what? A winning season, the Buccaneers' first playoff appearance and victory at home in a playoff game against the Detroit Lions. So it really was a huge hit. Tony Dungy's second season in Tampa Bay, 1997. It's really when the Buccaneers just took off. So it was wildly popular. They even went to the St. Pete Pier and they put the old Bucco Bruce uniform in Davy Jones's locker and they shoved it over. They had like the Santa Maria out there, and it was like a big ceremony. They were burying Buccaneer Bruce at sea, Pirates funeral, and here comes the new logo, and going with the flag logo and the skull and the cross sword. So
that is hilarious. Cool. They got to do like a promo of like sending the pirate and the mascot. Captain
Tony Dungy was there. Tony Dungy was
go like back into the ocean and like defeating Davy Jones. I don't know. Yeah. There's something. I'm just workshopping right now. But,
I love it. I love it.
There's something that they can do with it, which is
here's what we do. We do this little thing every Monday at 4:20 called
Roll Call. Where you at, Pewter people? We love interacting with everybody watching this show. We love and appreciate you so much. So one way we like to interact with everybody is on Mondays at 4:20. Start putting your location in the comments, and we will put it up on the screen, whether you're watching in Tampa, whether you're watching in Oklahoma, maybe you're a big Baker Mayfield fan now finding us with Baker on the Bucs, or if you're international, start putting your location in the screen, and we will put it up on the podcast as Nathan starts it off with Braden Tuckey. And
all right, well, here's my little rant, and again, this ties into the creamsicle controversy here, and let's talk about the Bucs throwback games that they've had, right? And some people, as you wisely said, Matt, associate the throwbacks with losing, right? They don't want to return to those days. Well, here's the thing: the Buccaneers donned their throwback uniforms for the first time in 2009, and I remember that game. I believe it was Josh Freeman's first start at quarterback later in the season against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. The Buccaneers actually came from behind to win that game. Josh Freeman on a 4th and a little less than 10, but it was in the red zone. They went for a touchdown. This is Raheem Morris's first year. They only won 3 games that year, Pewter people, and this was one of them. But Josh Freeman found Sammy Stroughter, a 7th-round draft pick that season, in the back of the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. Then, when Aaron Rodgers took the field, Tanar Jackson had a pick 6 of Aaron Rodgers to seal the win for the Buccaneers. So it was a great game. I remember that stadium was electric because the Buccaneers were having a really, really bad season, but everybody came out for this game. I'm not sure if it was a sellout, but it was a pretty full crowd. And of course, with the Packer fans there, I probably was a sellout or close to it. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, that particular game was awesome because you had not just the Buccaneers in their uniforms, but the throwback swashbuckler cheerleader uniforms with the big orange and white pom-poms. And they were playing 70s music the whole time and early 80s music. So it was a really cool atmosphere. All of the graphics at the stadium were, were kind of throwback 70s and 80s type of looks. Well, the fun didn't last long because in 2010, now this was the season. Remember, Matt, the Buccaneers went 10-6 under Raheem Morris. They just missed out in the playoffs, and this was a game that was a killer because they had the lead over the Falcons, and Matt Ryan brought Atlanta back. Atlanta ended up winning the division that year, I believe. And so this was one of the Bucs' 6 losses, and that stung because it kept them out of the playoffs. It was later in the season. They lost 28-24. Then the next season, well, this was Raheem's last season in Tampa Bay as the head coach, and they got throttled by the Panthers, 38-19. Then they finished playing the NFC South in their throwback uniforms. They played the New Orleans Saints the next year, and they lost that one 35-28 back in 2012. This is in Greg Schiano's first season. This was Rondé Barber's final season in Tampa Bay in 2012, and Rondé was the only player to play in the throwbacks all 4 of those years, 2009, 2010, 11, and 12. This was Lavonte David's first season in the league, and the only other Buccaneer currently on the roster to have played in that game and wear the throwbacks. So this was a loss. The big turning point in this game was Vincent Jackson, who we had on the cover of today's show. The late, great Vincent Jackson caught a 95-yard pass, which still stands as the longest reception by any Buccaneer today from Josh Freeman. And I want to say he got tackled around the 2-yard line. Couldn't make it to the end zone. And they gave LeGarrette Blount 4 cracks at it. They might have thrown the ball once, but he got at least 3 shots at running the ball in, and they couldn't get it. Ugh. So they turned the ball over on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. And that really proved to be the difference in that loss to the Saints. Now, in 2013, the Buccaneers announced that they were going to have a throwback game against the Cardinals, but a new NFL rule change that allowed teams to, or I guess I should say force teams to only have 1 helmet because of the concussion lawsuits, forced the Bucs to cancel that game. But they originally came out when they had their schedule release in the offseason and said, we're going to be playing the Cardinals for our throwback game. And that game got canceled. So now here we are, 11 years later, and October 15th versus the Lions, Matt. So that's the throwback controversy in terms of history. They've only won 1 of the throwback games. Hopefully that changes for the Buccaneers and their fans on October 15th against the Lions.
Hey, at least they're doing it right, though. The only game they won was against their previous division rival, the Packers, back in the day. So they're trying to reset history again with another former NFC Central opponent. So as we talked about earlier, there were a couple of Bucs that have commented on the Creamsicle announcement. Lavonte David, I think, had Jamel Dean had the funniest answer. Lavonte David had the most cryptic, what does he really mean type of response. So let's get to Lavonte David and his thoughts on the Creamsicle.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I got a little glimpse of them. They're not like the ones I wore in 2012 at all. So,
what's different about them?
I didn't get to see everything. You get to see the rings before they came out, too.
I can't tell y'all right now. But you should still be in for a surprise. They're really nice. I definitely like the way they look.
I like what Jenna Lane pointed out. He's like, yeah, like you got to look at the Super Bowl rings first before everyone saw them. You got to watch the creamsicles. But if anyone deserves it and should get those first looks, it is Lavonte David. But I mean, pretty emphatic statement. They're not like the other creamsicles at all. Like
that's
he put
right.
an exclamation point on that.
Yes. Now this was a picture from that 2012 game. Lavonte David making a play there on the ball against the Saints. Now, the interesting thing is this really kind of caused a little bit of news because Lavonte is saying they don't look anything like the creamsicles from this particular game here.
Yeah.
And when I asked him what's different, that was me saying, well, what's different about the uniforms? Jeff Ryan from the Buccaneers Radio Network, who he attends a lot of the press conferences, he was waving his arms and was basically being emphatic, like, no, do not reveal. Like what was happening. That was right behind you, Matt. Yeah. So
it was right behind me. Okay. Because I was like, I don't remember that at all.
Yes. So he was in the background. No, like that. So there is going to be some tweaks or some type of modernization about these uniforms. And that's another part of the controversy. That's why we talked about the creamsicle controversy today, because there's a lot going on with the creamsicles this year. Not just the fact that they're back, not just the fact that is Matt, are the Bucs allowed to wear the all pewter look? Because that's technically their alternate. Are they allowed to do that and the creamsicles in the same year? Do they have to pick one?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, does the pewter jersey go to the wayside now? But they just created this jersey, in 2020 when they came back? So it's a new uniform. You can't like take it out of the rotation already. They've only worn it for 3 seasons now. So I'm curious how they're going to go about that. I mean, I feel like there's enough games. Every jersey should really get its shine. There's no reason.
Well, the NFL, they screw up everything. I mean, they can't help but step on their own toes.
It's so weird what the NFL harps on and then what they don't care about. Like no one's allowed to celebrate. You're going to get penalized and fined if you do a touchdown dance, but no, you can't have vintage jerseys. You can't have old school jerseys. You can only wear it once. Like, what are you talking about? There's a big reason why people call the NFL the no fun league.
Yes.
And they know that they have everybody. We're all at the mercy at the NFL. Football's the best sport in the world. We all love watching it. It takes up all of our Saturdays and Sundays and now Thursdays and Mondays. And we're going to watch football no matter what. And the NFL's like, you know what? Now we're going to change Thursday games. So if you have a plan and you were going to go on Sunday, now you have to take off work and now you got to go earlier and spend more money on hotels.
Matt,
they don't care because we're all going to watch anyway.
It took the league this long to finally bring in the 0 jersey. And then they put restrictions on it. The defensive lineman, which that would be awesome, right? Looking at Vita Vea like in a big 0. I mean, like a big old fat guy. Like now they're saying you can't have any offense or defensive lineman wearing the number 0. Now, Yaya Diaby. He's going to look awesome in it. Like he looks badass in that number. But again, the no fun league kind of strikes and says you can't do this. Just like certain positions can't wear single digits, right? I mean, it's criminal, but it's also par for the course with the with the no fun league. Rachaad White, when we had him on the podcast, he kind of hinted at this. Did he not?
Yeah, because he was he was almost like not confused, but when we asked him about the creamsicle jersey, he threw us off for a quick second because he took it very literal and was talking about like the fabric and the different kinds of things where we just kind of want to know, like, are you excited that the creamsicles are back? Yeah. And he kind of took it in a different direction. He was on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, so we'll just get to the video.
Let's do it. Creamsicle uniforms this year. Bucco Bruce, are you excited to wear the orange and white? It's been a long time since Buccaneer fans have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about it too because it'll be like, obviously, like how that is right there. Like, no disrespect, that's the kind of the old school version of it. So obviously it's gonna be a totally new, different helmet. So I mean, I just think our new school way and style and swag is gonna look better with it on. Honestly.
Wait, what now? Hold on. It's not going to be the creamsicle?
No, it's gonna be the creamsicle for sure. Like it's gonna be that, but just the jersey gonna be way different. Obviously, just a lot of things are made differently now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In terms of the fabric and all
Right.
that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
So like that helmet on right there, most guys gonna have the little Speed Flex helmet. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying?
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
different things. So I just think our stuff looked better. I mean, obviously in their time, the newest helmet and stuff they felt looked better, but I just think our stuff looked better and fits better. So I'm just excited about it and how it's gonna look and how it's gonna come out for sure. I'm pretty sure when we put them on, it's gonna be very exciting.
Do you know which game you're going to be playing in with those uniforms?
No, I honestly don't know yet.
Okay.
I honestly don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure it's probably one of them games y'all mentioned.
Yeah.
Probably. Rachaad, one last question, since we're talking about the jerseys. If you had to rank them between the home red, the away white, the all pewter jersey, and the creamsicle, how would you rank those jerseys 1 to 4?
I mean, I'm always a fan of like all white. So I mean, I like the all white for sure. I mean, we only wear that one time. I remember I was asking, even though I was a rookie, like, why we only wear all white one game or so. But so I'm a big fan of that. I just think it looks clean, things like that. But if I had to choose a jersey, I just don't know, because my favorite color is like orange and white. So I mean, I would like it, but
so you like the creamsicle?
I mean, obviously that's gonna go well, but for me, it's also like I would like it to be the opposite. Like I think I know back in the day, I think I was looking at pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
I think they had
the white jersey and the orange pants
with the orange pants. Like I like probably that better for me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Just who I am, but I mean, you can't go wrong with the orange jersey and the white as well, though, as the white. So I'll probably say that's going to be the best jersey this year for sure.
That's awesome.
Because you know, like I was mentioning, like you said, just different jerseys. It's gonna be like a different fabric and things like that. So how it's gonna look, like you said, guys hasn't seen it in a long time, so it's gonna just look totally different than what it looked like then.
Yeah, exactly. Buccaneers have got some awesome jerseys. I'm so glad that they ditched the old. I got this because it was given to me by the team for my 20th year covering the team. I'm not a fan of the old clock. Digital clock font and the old look, but the fact that they went to the classic red and pewter look, and then are bringing back the throwbacks, and even that all pewter looks pretty cool too. Do you like that look?
Yeah, I thought it was clean for sure. I thought it was real clean.
Rachaad White quickly became like the Bucs team historian. You know, like a week ago, he was talking about that they haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher in 7 to 8 weeks. On the podcast, he was talking, as everyone just saw in the video. Yeah, they used to have a white jersey and wear it with the orange pants. So, team historian, Rachaad White. Yeah,
speaking of team store, apparently, and I even looked, I'll take Jay and Anitra's word for it, they don't have any creamsicle jerseys in the Bucs store online. So that could be an indication that there is some type of variant or some type of change. Still going to have that classic creamsicle look, apparently, but it's going to be updated and modernized, I believe. We'll find out soon enough.
And also, you will not be getting a Jamel Dean game-worn creamsicle. It's going to be very hard to get that one.
Yep.
You know, I'm so excited to wear those, man. I've been waiting for years to wear them. I'm like, man, I hope I'm on the team when they bring these jerseys out. So, you know, it's exciting because once I get it, I'm keeping it forever. Like, no jersey swap. I'm not jersey swapping. A rare piece of item right now. Like, because we went like almost a decade without them. So now when you see them bring it back, you're like, oh, we miss seeing these. And then you got to keep them because you don't know when the next time we're going to bring them back.
Yep. That's right. You don't know when they're going to bring them back.
I just love the line. No jersey swaps.
Yes.
None.
Exactly. Well, listen, you know, we're sitting here spending all this time talking about creamsicles and all of that. And folks, if you like the taste of creamsicle, I've got to tell you, you've got to try the Fantasy Vibe. I had one this morning just in honor of today's show. And it's crazy. I mean, it looks like the old Bucco Bruce can with the orange and the red and all of that. And it's got an amazing, this is one of the sweeter flavors. So you have to have a bit of a sweet tooth, but the sparkling mandarin orange and marshmallow flavor, they absolutely nailed it. These scientists at Celsius struck gold with this Fantasy Vibe. It's a great flavor. Also, too, the sparkling orange is always a huge hit. Sparkling lemon lime, one of the newer flavors. And of course, if you're looking at the ultimate newness, you can check out the Oasis Vibe. That's the newest flavor, available at Target, soon to be available everywhere else. Make Celsius your number one pick. I do every morning. I have a Celsius to start my day. Sometimes I'll save it for the afternoon if I'm getting ready to go to the gym. It's a great way to power through your afternoon at work and get prepped for the gym. Listen, it's real easy. Celsius has made it super easy to find where you can get Celsius near you. Click on Celsius.com, go to the store locator, type in your address, and you can find Celsius near you at the convenience stores, health and fitness stores, grocery stores, and what's the other term that we talk about all the time?
Bodega.
Bodegas. That's right. Once you find the flavors that you like, go to Amazon.com, buy them in bulk, save some money with Subscribe and Save. They ship them right to you. It's also available on Instacart, people. You can get Celsius just about anywhere. Celsius, the official energy drink of Pewter Report.
And we actually went ahead, Scott, before the show today. We were chatting back and forth about the show, and we had all of the Pewter reporters rank our favorite Bucs jerseys. So there was 6 combinations, I believe.
Yep.
It was
6.
red jersey and pewter pants.
Yep.
Red jersey, white pants.
Yep.
All pewter look,
Mhm.
creamsicle look, and then white pants with the red jersey, and then all white, which Rachaad White was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah,
we did not include the Color Rush all red jerseys, which honestly, again, not a fan of the whole digital clock numbers and all that. But if I had to say that Color Rush all look, the all red look with the pewter helmet was kind of cool. It was better than the jerseys that they had there.
It was.
So we didn't include that just because we're sticking with current jerseys. But this is how it shook out among the Pewter Report staff. So we'll start here with this was myself and Josh Capo. And we both started out with pewter on pewter and red on pewter. Those were our 2 favorite color combinations. That's why we started things off here, because we're kind of thinking along the same lines. I prefer the pewter on pewter. Why? Because we do Pewter Report, people. It makes perfect sense, does it not? And Josh liked the red on pewter first. Then you can see how things stacked up after that. And of course, there's Devin White and Rachaad White, no relation, but we got the white guys on there in terms of wearing the different colors. Now, notice we both have white on white last, which is another reason why we have Rachaad White and Devin White on here. So neither one of us are a fan of the all white look. I know some people love that look because it's like clean and fresh and all of the adjectives used to describe it. We both had Creamsicles ranked 4th. So Josh and I kind of saw the jersey favorites list here the same way, right? So that's how Josh and I took a look at it. Matt, let's take a look at yours. We have you and James Hill kind of on the same page with some of these. You both have red on pewter first, and you both have Creamsicles and pewter on pewter 3rd and 4th. You vary a little bit on the second choice, but here you have a couple of Buccaneer greats in terms of the cornerback position. Rondé Barber, the best in team history, wearing the throwback look, the Creamsicles, and you have the red on pewter look that you and James both like there, and that's Carlton Davis, who's trying to become the next Rondé Barber for this team. What are your thoughts on these lists here?
Yeah, hopefully. Feel free, everybody in the chats. Feel free to put your favorite combo or whether you like our list or disagree with some of them. But I'll give my reasoning for some of my favorites. For me personally, I think a lot of it is about having your team colors, which is why I have white on white towards the bottom. And I actually do like white on white look. It's fresh, it's clean. But every team has white in their jerseys. There's nothing too special about it. So, like when you think the Buccaneers, you think of those pewter pants. You think of that red jersey. So that's why I had it up at the top. And same thing with white on pewter second, because you got the distinct team color. Even if the Bucs are on the road, they're still rocking the pewter pants. You have that Bucs color. I went with Creamsicle over the pewter on pewter, really just because the Creamsicle has been around longer. I like the jersey, but it's still new. You know, it only came out in 2020. There's not a ton of history behind it just yet. So I think with the history of the Bucs and the Bucco Bruce logo and the orange and all the excitement for most people that the Creamsicle is back, that's why I had that 3rd. But very close between 3 and 4 for Creamsicle versus pewter. And then, red on white I had last. Same thing, white. Yeah. It's generic color. Every team has it. It's nothing specific to the Bucs about it. Where white on white is very clean, and I think it shows off the helmet a little bit more, which I think is cool. But yeah, that's how I kind of went about it. I'm also I have a great appreciation for jerseys. I wouldn't necessarily call myself like an aficionado, but I love like old school jerseys, or
Yeah.
for example, like Chris Godwin is always rocking an awesome
Yes.
basketball jersey or something like that. Donovan Smith's no longer with the team, but he would
was a
always
big
have
fan of
really
that
cool
too.
jerseys.
Yeah.
Mike Evans will wear some as well. So I've always had a great appreciation for that. Even as a kid, I tried to get as many different like basketball jerseys and football jerseys that I could, because I was like, oh, this would look so cool. So yeah, I had a lot of fun coming up with this list for sure.
Yep. And continuing with the Pewter Reporters, we have two of the Bucs' best free agent signings of all time. Tom Brady wearing the red and pewter look, and then, of course, Vincent Jackson, the late, great Vincent Jackson. Just a tremendous free agent signing by Mark Dominic back in the day. And he's wearing the throwback look. So Bailey Adams and Adam Slavon, very close. They started off 2 for 2 here, red on pewter with both of them, and then Creamsicles were second. White on pewter was next for Bailey, and white on white was next for Adam. And then, of course, the pewter on pewter was actually fourth for both of them. So these guys, too, very much in common, very much like you and James and Josh and I. And then to round things out, we have J.C. Allen. He likes the pewter on pewter best, followed by red on pewter. Then white on white, followed by the Creamsicles, white on pewter, and then red on white. So there's two of the best Bucs receivers of all time right there, modeling the pewter look with Chris Godwin, and then the red on pewter classic look with Mike Evans. So, yeah, it's fun to kind of go through the team's uniform combinations. Again, glad they ditched the old, I should say, was this new or is this old now? I don't know. It's
I'd rather just forget it altogether.
Yeah, I mean, that was bad football, right? I mean, no playoff games in those uniforms. It started under Lovie Smith. Jason Light had to endure them for most of his tenure because they started out in 2014, and that's when Jason Light took over as general manager, and then thankfully they changed to the throwback look, which is the classic look now. I guess we'll call them the Buccaneer Classics, which is the uniforms that they're wearing today. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got some fans' opinions. David Street says he's a fan of the white on whites, where Jesse likes the pewter on pewter. I feel like this is a joke with me Sater, but says would love to see the creamsicle on pewter pants. I will say there are times if I'm playing Madden, you can like change the jerseys.
Yeah.
I'll do the most ridiculous looking jerseys that don't match at all, but it is very funny. Jeremy Lowe, red and pewter. Old school Dents likes the white and pewter. I'll get to a couple more. Shane went all out and did multiple. Red on pewter, white on pewter, pewter on pewter.
His list. Yeah.
Creamsicle, white on white, and red on white. So appreciate everyone's comments on that. And now Sammer has some updated ones as well. Let's take a look at some of these.
Right. So here's his first ensemble. Now, he's been doing this for several years. So forget the fact that these are Ronald Jones modeling these uniforms here, because this is back in 2020. This is Sammer Ali from Loose Cannons podcast. He does a fantastic job with the graphics here. And so this is kind of like if the Buccaneers kept their helmet, but went with the throwback look, right? And modernized it. So there's no Bucco Bruce here, as you can see, even on the jerseys themselves, they've got the pirate ship logo, not the Bucco Bruce logo. And the difference here is, if you notice the pants, they've got the red and white stripes on one, and then the pewter and red stripes on another. And then the other subtle difference you'll notice here is the helmet, the face mask on the first side, the left side is white, or maybe it's chrome, but then it's red, like the Bucco Bruce helmets, right? They've got the red face mask and all that. So this is how red and pewter kind of blends together. It's not my favorite. I do have a couple of other ones. Like this one is pretty cool here. This is really taking it to a different level. This is a white helmet, right? This is more of the look, because the Bucco Bruce helmet is white, but it's the new logo on a white helmet and the different variants you could come up with there. This looks very similar just in terms of color combinations. I don't think the team would ever do an all orange look, right? Back in 1995, Sam Weiss' last game as head coach, season finale against the Detroit Lions. He wanted the Buccaneers to show up in all orange in that game. And so Frankie Papello laid out the orange jerseys and the orange pants for that game. And Paul Gruber, left tackle, Hall of Fame, Bucs, I'm sorry, not Hall of Fame, Bucs Ring of Honor guy, and Hardy Nickerson, those were the team captains. They both looked at each other and they said, there's no way we're going out there looking like pumpkins wearing all this. It's just not going to happen. So he went to Frankie Papello and said, no, we're not doing this. And Frankie went to Sam and said, the players are not going to wear these uniforms. So you need to pick one, either the jersey, the white pants, the orange jersey, white pants, or the orange pants, white jersey. And Sam said, let's go with the orange jersey and white pants. And so he got vetoed by his own players for there. So, this is kind of a cool, different look, throwback colors with kind of a modern look. But then he really kind of went with an alternate Bucco Bruce look here. And maybe this is no inside information. This is just maybe a guess. Maybe this is how they modernized this a little bit. If you notice in this particular graphic here, on the jersey sleeve, they have a Bucco Bruce logo, which they don't have. If you remember on the actual throwback jerseys, you can see here, there's no Bucco Bruce anywhere except for the helmet. And there's no word Buccaneers anywhere. All they have is the numbers and then the stripe sleeves. So if they went with a modern look, something like this, there we go. Something like this, they have the word Buccaneers in the new font, right, in orange above the number. So, Matt, I could see them kind of stylizing this and tweaking it a little bit to make the jerseys a little bit more captivating than how they were. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a fantastic job by Sammer.
Yeah, he nailed this one.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this one specifically with Joe Tryon-Shank. I believe that's JTS.
JTS,
as modeling for it. It's a fresh look. It is fresh.
Has all the elements of the throwback, right?
Yes, and the little all the elements. It's got that feel, and yes, just the little addition of the Bucco Bruce on the jersey. It makes it specific. It makes it a little more authentic.
Yeah.
Again, a tip of the cap to the old school Buccaneers. The other logos as well. The all orange, I didn't necessarily hate. It's just like with the pewter helmet and with the red numbers.
Yeah.
The red on the orange just doesn't really, jive too well. But the all white, the other one, I thought that was great too. Yes, the
that's
one
sharp
on the side. Yeah, that's very, very sharp. Modernized as well, where you're taking advantage of the white color that every team has, but you're putting your own little spin on it where it does feel like very specific to the Buccaneers. But yeah, that last one with JTS is if they rolled that out, when they like finally show what these creamsicles are going to look like, I would be more than happy with that type of look.
Yeah. And these are a couple of different graphic, if the Buccaneers had an orange helmet. I'm not a huge fan of the orange helmet, but just some cool looking variants with the Bucco Bruce on the orange helmet rather than white. And then, kind of, again, blending the new and the old with the skull and cross swords and the helmet, or I should say the football without the flag on the orange helmet. That's just, it's a different look. Now, this is the last graphic we'll show you here, and I think this is really cool. This is the modern logo on a orange helmet, which is okay, but it looks fire on that white one.
Yes,
I think that looks so cool with the orange and the white stripes. And this is another variant. This is, again, taking elements of the current jersey and the old one here. So you've got kind of the black piping right along the sleeves. And what Sammer's done with this is he's outlined the red and the orange with the black, right, for the jersey, but then putting the Bucco Bruce logo on there as well. And then taking the Bucco Bruce helmet with the black piping down the center of it. So you've got red and orange and then black right down the center, and you have the black piping down the pants as well. I think this is a pretty cool, again, modernized, tweaking version, maybe a little bit of a darker pirate look with the black trim in there, but I think this one's pretty cool too.
And I feel like that would fit in as well with the Bucs video team. I think has done a fantastic job over the past couple of seasons, hyping the fans up with these with these videos like that they play on the scoreboard at Raymond James Stadium before like the Bucs come out, and it's all pirate voyage with like, they're on a ship and everything's like burning else around them, but they're like going through the fire, going through the fog and everything, and going to accomplish their goal. And I feel like those jerseys would kind of fit in well with the video and the subliminal messaging that the Bucs implement with it.
Yeah, no doubt. So these are really cool, and some of these concepts were done years ago. Again, that's why Ronald Jones was modeling these, because this was done back in 2020. But Sammer's done some great work. There's some other really good artists out there that put their spin on this. I think Sammer is a friend of the program here, and certainly we've been on Loose Cannon's podcast. It's a great podcast. Stank and Papi Latte and Sammer do a great job with
they do. They're
covering the team with their own unique spin, as well as Sammer's graphics here. So I want to thank him for lending us the artwork, just to kind of show some ways that this team might be able to tweak things and keep it current and modernized, but also have that throwback look. So I think we can expect some tweaks or changes. Not sure if Sammer's spot on here or not, but listen, if I'm the Buccaneers, I've seen what Nike's done. Right, like Nike came up with that. I'd rather have Sammer Ali do some of the team's new concepts and new logos and helmets rather than Nike.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if it has to be the end all be all on decisions, and I'm sure they're doing their research and things like that. But they should almost kind of leave it up to a vote for Bucs fans, which ones they like. I mean, they do it with. If a team has to change their name, they have to. They ask for like the fans to vote on it. So why not do it with the jerseys? Because it's for the fans,
Yeah. Jay with the question here, Scott, do you miss the big sombrero? No, I don't. My first ever game in the big sombrero was in 1993 season opener. I hadn't even started covering the Buccaneers yet. I was at Kansas State University, and I was a Chiefs fan living in Kansas City. You're kind of forced to be one, but I also started liking the Buccaneers. A couple of Kansas State Wildcat players, Elijah Alexander and Roger Green, were drafted by the Bucs, and that was the year I started subscribing to Buccaneer magazine as a reader back then. So my stepbrother Jeff and I, we flew down and went to that game. Still probably one of the hottest games on record. Not a cloud in the sky. Maybe about 50,000, 55,000 people there. This was Joe Montana and Marcus Allen's first game with the Chiefs. Steve DeBerg was back from Kansas City playing in Tampa Bay with the Buccaneers again. And the Chiefs won 35-3, just destroyed them. No wind, no breeze, absolutely an inferno. I still have spots on my shoulders from wearing a tank top and having like major sunburn, like blister sunburn. It was that bad. So I don't remember. I'm not a fan of the press box because it was way at the top of the stadium. So I think for nostalgia's sake, the big sombrero is kind of cool. If you want to see the big sombrero, go to Memphis. The Liberty Bowl is the big sombrero. It's almost an exact replica. But no, I like Raymond James Stadium. I think it's laid out very well. I love how they have the Pirates crew, the little crew deck thing they had this year, Matt, to give extra seating in the end zone, the pirate ship. I don't know. I just think it's better. What are your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I get why they did it. Tom Brady's back for one more season. Let's pack as many people as we possibly can. Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was a little odd at first because like you had these bleachers and it was tough for people, like for pedestrians, like walking, if they want to go get food and drinks and things like that. It was a little like awkward in that type of setting, but it all worked out for everyone. I'd be fine with it if they kept it. But if they go back to the original, Raymond James Stadium, then I think that's fine. I mean, having a pirate ship in the stadium is so awesome. It's so cool.
So
it's
unique.
Fun when they show it too, like if they host the Super Bowl or when they host the national championship.
The game's in Tampa. Right?
Yeah, like I like looking back at old Super Bowl games. Obviously, the most recent one was in Tampa, right? When the Bucs won, and that was awesome. But even like the Cardinals Steelers won. It's like, that one was in Tampa. When the Ravens beat down on the New York Giants, like, that was in Tampa. I like those little historical reference things to the city and Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, I do too. Well, speaking of financial advisors, not necessarily Raymond James, but folks, if you're looking for what we believe is the best financial company to deal with, it's, of course, Immuni Financial.
At Amuni Financial, we help you live in the now.
Congratulations. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
And even though the now may feel very different, you still need to plan for the future.
How's retirement treating you?
Oh, just fantastic.
I know I say it all the time, but you really got to come up to Colorado.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
We can help you develop that plan to keep you on track so you can still prepare for tomorrow, today. Amuni Financial. Plan ahead, stay ahead.
It's a Monday. That means a new Bucs mailbag presented by Immuni Financial. That's right. You can check out my latest column answering some Buccaneer questions. We'll also have the video version of that on our Pewter Report YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV, later on tonight. But first, the Immuni Financial read, and here it goes. Managing your family's wealth means more to Immuni Financial than simply allocating your assets. It means legacy planning, brokerage and advisory services, retirement accounts, college savings accounts, and insurance services. 40 years of experience. Let Immuni Financial help you plan ahead and stay ahead. That's what I've done. So I'm recommending you do what I've done with most of my financial investments. I've got them at Immuni Financial. Make sure that you tell them Scott Reynolds and Pewter Report sent you. Give them a call at 1-800-868-6864 or visit them on the web at immuni.com. Helping clients not just in the Tampa Bay area or Florida, but across the country. Call Immuni Financial or visit them on the web at immuni.com.
As we wrap up the show, I am curious what you think, Scott, and the Pewter people as well. The Bucs Creamsicle, in terms of other throwback jerseys, where does it rank? Is it towards the top? Because I think the de facto number one for a long time was the now Los Angeles Chargers, the baby blue. But now they made that their every game jersey.
That's right.
So that gets taken off the board. Same with the Rams when they went to like the blue and the gold, like a lot more brighter. That's their everyday jersey now, too. So those are two of the top ones that technically aren't available anymore.
That's right. The Eagles bringing back their Kelly Green. Also, too, that's the Harold Carmichael, Ron Jaworski. Green throwback. Reggie White also wore
Kelly
that.
Green,
Jerome Brown as well. So, a lot of cool colors and all of that. You know, you mentioned Chris Godwin. Mike Evans is also a guy that likes to wear jerseys, basketball jersey, throwbacks, etc. And we're going to be talking about the greatness of Mike Evans. He's got a contract extension that's going to be coming up, folks. We wrote about that back on May 26th, and that's going to come to fruition. So we're going to be talking about Mike Evans tomorrow. If you're a fan of Mike Evans, show up tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time, and that's going to be the topic for tomorrow's podcast. Where does Mike rank? Does he make the Bucs Mount Rushmore? That's a good question. We should ponder that tomorrow. Speaking of Mike Evans, look at that picture. He is locked in on the Bucs best coverage, and you should be too. That's at pewterreport.com, the mothership. Breaking news, inside scoop, game coverage, expert analysis, and, of course, the best offseason coverage of the Buccaneers. Make sure you follow Pewter Report on social media. That's at Pewter Report at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that Pewter Report's YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. We want to make sure that you Pewter people, we love you. You're following us on and subscribing to Pewter Report TV on Facebook. It's the place to be. We're nearing 11,000 subscribers. Thanks to you guys. We're growing by leaps and bounds. I've got great content there from Matt Matera, James Hill, myself, putting content up. Adam Slavon's got some content as well. So a lot more stuff coming this summer and into training camp on Pewter Report TV. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and that you like all of our videos, including this one here.
Yes, please do so. And that's going to do it for us on today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everybody, for watching. And we will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.